Hi guys, welcome to this how to assemble Space Marines tutorial, and these are the guys we're going to be assembling. Okay, so I'll just pop them to one side for a minute. Here you can see, well, you may have seen the tutorial I did on what we will need in order to do modelling, and I've cleared away the stuff I don't need and I've kept out the stuff I do need. So I've got my glues, my two knives. The reason I've got two knives is because one is smaller than the other. Sometimes I tend to use the smaller one if I can't get into an area that the larger one, if I can get into an area with this one that this one won't. Might become apparent as I go through it. My cutters, a brand new nail file, 240 grit, a brush which to clean the sprues off with and bits, and a mould line remover. I can't do anything without this. It's got to be done. Right, so I'll just move these to one side. Those over there, those over there, those over there. Let's take the top off of my cutters because that's what I will be needing. And let's have a look at our Space Marines. Okay, I've already taken the cellophane off of this, so apologies for that. I just don't want to see me take off unwrapped cellophane. So inside the box you get, and if this is your first time, it can be quite daunting. I've been there myself, guys. Right, you get all this. Right, make sure I've got everything. Right, the box is now empty. Everything in the box. Right, first of all, the transfer sheets. Now I'll do another tutorial on that at a later date, because you can put transfers on them, on their shoulder pads and things, to make them look good. It's not easy, but the effects is quite effective when you put them on there. So put those away as well. We've got our 3 sprues, the bits we need on, some bases, and the all-important instruction book. Now if you look at these instructions, again, this is quite handy. They'll tell you in here. I know instructions, if you're anything like me, it's a bit like, oh, stuff the instructions, I'll do it as I go. And well, I've learnt by experience, guys. In these instructions it tells you what you need anyway. Of course it will show you all the Games Workshop stuff, but you don't need that. As you go, you'll see little symbols. Okay, here, like in these, the cog wheels is quite common. You look at all these different things, you think, oh no, what is all this about? And if you look at the front of your instruction book here, it will tell you what these mean. These different symbols. Right, if it's got an exclamation mark, it means a special instruction. Please read. So really read those instructions before you get going. Okay, the tick is finished assembly, what it should look like. Anything with an arrow on it, it's just an alternative angle. If it's got like a picture of a glue pot, like this kind of thing with a line for it, means don't glue this part. Some parts that you don't glue. I don't think there's anything like that on the Space Marines for you to worry about, but this is the one. The symbol of the little cogwheels. This means there's a choice of parts. Like it could be different heads or arms to go with it, or gun attachment. So look out for that. Close-up view. If it's got a little magnifying glass next to it, that means there's a close-up view of the model itself. So it starts off with the legs, touching the legs on, and then it goes through the body, all the backpacks, the guns, weapons, all the shoulder pads, yeah, the heads there, different postures. Okay, these are quite good. This is quite an up-to-date one, so actually it's brand new. When I first started, I didn't have any of this in it. It shows you all the choice of accessories, because I was quite bewildered having all these bits and bobs left over, thinking, right, where's this supposed to go? And it didn't tell you. And here it tells you where you can put them, which is quite handy. So got some grenades there and a sword that shows you where you can put them. It's a good instruction book, really. But let's get started on the basics. Don't need to worry yourself about this yet. Now, one way a lot of people tend to do this is they'll think, right, okay, we'll cut out our Space Marines. So, well, that's what we're going to do. Well, I'm not going to cut all the bits out at one. I'm going to go exactly what it says in the book, I'm going to start off using the legs, and I'm going to glue leg to the base. I'm not going to do all of them. When you get more used to this, you'll do it in a batch method, which is what I do. I'll cut all the legs out, and then I'll glue all the legs. I'll cut all the torsos out. It's quicker, a lot quicker. But you just want to get to know how to do it, and we'll come on to the extra bits and bobs later. There's only 10 pairs of legs, so you've got to use them all. So it doesn't really matter which ones you use for the moment. So when you're cutting a sprue, let's see if I can angle this light a bit better here. So you want to make sure you don't damage the actual miniature itself. Now, if you watch a Games Workshop tutorial on how to assemble and paint miniatures, it will tell you to cut as far away from the model as possible. What I've noticed that's a good advice for beginners. For myself, I tend to cut with the bevel edge or the flat edge, that one there, excuse me, this part here, I can see that, yeah, bit on top there, closest to the actual miniature itself, away from the sprue. So in this particular example, because it's nearest, I'm going to use this one, number 5, legs, and I'll put this right next to his torso. You know, if you're too scared to do that, turn it up the other way, because that'll give you like a few millimeters of gap between the two, and then you cut it off. So alright, we'll do it that way first then. I'll cut it off there, so it's on the top bit, and then the same on the bottoms of his feet. So I've left quite a gap away from his legs, his feet, to the actual miniature itself. Now what you're left with, if you can see that there, I can get that in the view, got this like all this detritus on the edges here, so you want to clear that up. At least now it's off of the sprue, you've got a chance to clean it away. Either take your cutters again, just snip those bits off, which I would do on the sprue. Put those bits in. Right, now it's time to clean up. Now I was initially going to do all this in fast speed, but you really need to see what I'm on about. I don't know if you'll be able to see it here, he probably won't be able to, but down the middle of his leg there is a mould line. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of that. Let me just pop my glasses on, excuse me a moment. Right, I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to use my mould line remover. Now, before I do that, like I said in a previous video, a lot of people will use their knives, the blunt edge of their knife, to turn over and scrape that away. I don't, because I'm heavy-handed. So what I do is I use my mould line remover to do that. And I'll just scrape the mould lines away from the legs, because although they don't look much at the moment, when you come to put paint on them, they'll stand out like a sore thumb. And to me, there's nothing worse than, say, a nicely painted model, and like they got all the metal bits and the gun, and it looks like metal, and it doesn't look like plastic. It's made to be painted up to look like metal, but then you've got a mould line running right through the middle of it, which immediately tells you that it is plastic. It ruins the suspension of disbelief, and you know, that's the visual appeal of this game is half of it really for me. I try to encompass all areas of the model, so I've done 2 mould lines there, okay, and there's a couple more in here, and I'll just tidy those up for also where I've cut it away from the sprue on top here. You don't need to worry about this so much because the torso is going on top, but it's quite good to score it anyway. Make sure it's nice and flat, and it makes the glue bond even easier, I find. So for now, this is that, and the bottoms of his feet you don't need to worry too much about, as long as they're flat, the bits that you're going on to the base. Alright, so you do that. I'm just going to make sure these mould lines are off here. Okay, I won't show you the whole thing in slow motion like I'm doing now, because you'll be sat here and it'll bore you to tears. Right, a bit of rubbish on there now, so I take my brush, I brush it off thoroughly. Okay, making sure all the bits and bobs are nice and smooth. I'm a stickler when it comes to mould lines. I can't bear it. And you get any model that's painted to a good standard as it's advertised on eBay, or pro painted or anything like that, and yeah, I'm saying it with a tone because they're anything but pro painted, to be honest. If I buy something that's advertised as professionally painted, I'm expecting a masterpiece. I am, because I certainly don't class myself as a professional, and you know, I've yet to find one that's been advertised that way that I can't do myself. I'm thinking, well, where's the professionalism in that? You know what I mean? Right, let's clean this up here. Okay, good to go. So we've got a pair of legs there, and what I would do is I would cut the other legs out as well and prepare them up to the same as that. But before I do that, let's open up these bases, get them on here. So you want to glue this to the base. Alright, have them stood on there like so. So just take your glue, I'll use this one in a while. Now just on the base, bottoms of his feet, because that's where he's going to be making contact with the base. Just want a little blob of glue like so. And then get your base. The beauty with this is it's not like super glue. If this was super glue, it'd be dry, it'd be too late. But this is plastic glue. You've got loads of time to move it around. So just place him on the base how you wish. And I'd like him like that. And there we are. My legs are glued to the base. So what I will do is I will cut out the other legs and glue them onto the bases accordingly. And then when I've done that, we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, guys? Okay. Okay, guys, so there they are, all 10 finished up. This was the one that we did initially together. As you can see, solid. I can't pull that apart now. It's been about, I don't know, half an hour. Yeah, so all these are done, ready for the next stage. So you've done all the legs on bases, okay? So you've done all that. Next stage. If you look at your instruction book, done all the legs, so they're all done. Next stage, assemble the torso. Okay, and it will show you the appropriate numbers and what to cut out. So torsos are next. Get this appropriate sprue. You will see it there. You can see that. Here they are. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you've got 10 backs, but you've got 11 front. So one of them, well, a couple of them are different designs in the spare, I suppose. So that's kind of handy. I'm just going to cut out one of the generic ones, and I'm going to cut it the way I do now. Cut it whatever way you want. So I'm going to cut the front out. This is number 12 on the sprue here. Obviously I need that one as close to the model as I can without damaging it. There, one, and the other side. Before I do it, some bits, like these smaller bits here, you've got to make sure you hold on to the bit when you cut it, otherwise it pings off into the direction you'll never find it again. So I've got a front, and I'll look at the backs, and they're all identical, so I'll just cut one of the backs off. Obviously I'll do them all together, but when you're just trying to assemble one model to show you. Okay, so on the front it's got two little holes either side. On the back it's got two tiny little round nodules that fit into it as well. So you can tidy these up separately or wait until they're glued and then tidy them. I'll kind of do it as I go. There's a little bit of plastic poking out on the side there. Just rub that off gently with the nail file. One side done. That's the other side done. Got a bit more actually. Across the front. And I'll just do the back. I'll probably do them again once they're glued. One, two. Now just pick one of the two parts, either the front or the back, it doesn't really matter which. And if you've got this applicator from Citadel, the thin plastic glue with the little nozzle, this is one of the parts that the nozzle is ideal for. Just go around all the edges. I'll hold this hand while I'm doing it at the same time. With the nozzle, just a tiny amount. Just go around. Okay. Now don't worry because you only really put these together one way. Hold it there for a second, and that's done. The torso. A quick move of where they should be on the shoulders, where the arms are going to go. Yeah, so that's that. Now, so we've got our torso. We need to put it on our legs. Now it's really a matter of personal preference what way, if you want them leaning or to the side or whatever. I'll just grab the box that models came in. If you want some inspiration, just close the lid on there. Get your box. You can look on the front here to see all the different types. This is good for seeing the different weapons and how they're held. You look on the back, you can see some different poses of the weapons here and how they are. I'll just do a generic posture for ease of use here. Now I'll put a little bit of blob of glue, tiny bit on top of where the legs are here. Top of the legs, just wait for the glue to come out, tiny little blob there. Take my torso, just press that on. You may get a little bit of a splodge come out, it's not too bad. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's that one done with the torso. One down, 9 to go. See you when I've done the other 9. Hey, so there we are. We've done the torsos now, all 10 of them, all put on. I'm trying to show you the best way possible, rather than keep moving the screen down. I'm not sure. So you can see them there. I'll just put them on this smaller cutting mat. So there they are in various poses at the moment. So still drying on the torsos. And I'll take this opportunity to say, now some modelers like to paint as they go. So I know I've seen a lot of them at this stage. They would stop assembling and they would prime them all black, okay, or white or grey or whatever their preference is. They prime them all and then paint them all, because once you've got the arms and the gun in front of the chest plate, it's a lot more difficult to paint them. For me personally, I don't find a problem with it at all. I find it just simple enough to paint them anyway. I'm not saying I'm a fantastic painter or anything. I just don't find it that difficult. But yeah, so I'm going to assume whether you want to paint them as you go or not. We'll assume you do. In which case, just assume I've painted them all. Okay. So we'll be moving on to possibly the heads next, or backpacks. So yeah, and it's exactly the same way. I've kind of ditched my Games Workshop cutters and I've gone for the cheaper generic ones I showed you just now, because they're sharper. I think my Games Workshop ones have got a bit blunt. Yes, if you're doing that on the sprue, always make sure you usually get like a bit of a click when it cuts. I'm just going to quickly count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. So we've got 10 backpacks. I've just got one spare torso left from the front there. I don't know whether to do backpacks next to heads, I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter. But if you're going by the instructions here, after the torso, it's recommending backpacks. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. So after the torso here, it goes on to the backpacks. And how to assemble them. There. Oh, and it's showing you up there. Look, optional part. You can have some robes in front there, and that is like a set of nunchuckers or some other weapon. Yeah. So what it's saying is, this is a good point in time, this stage, at which to do this. When you're putting the backpack on, to assemble that as well. Okay. And I may or may not do that. See how we go. Just looking on the back here of different angles, which is good. I never had this on the old instructions, but it's got different poses and what parts to use to get a different look. We'll come on to the weapons later, but I'm just going to apply the same principle now of cutting the backpacks off with my generic cutters. And looking on them, they've got 3 points of contact with the sprue. So I'm just going to go through, and I'm going to cut these. These are the part where, because they've got like a little V shape in the bottom of the backpack. This is where you're more likely going to be needing your hobby knife to clean them up with after. You've got, yeah, you've got a click there. Yeah, so I've done all the bottom of those. Now it's just a question of getting the corners. And these will need some clean up. Then, so that's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. I'll do the other 5 off screen. Let me just unplug that a minute. Right, okay. Now to clean up all I'm looking at here, I can see straight away there's a mould line running down the middle, down the centre of the top of the backpack. So that's going to have to go, and obviously each side of the round bits where they were connected to the sprue's got to go, and that little V shape there, it's got a little bit of plastic in it as well. So we'll deal with that first, I think. Now be careful when you're using a knife. I think everybody says this, and they always say cut away from yourself, but you and I both know that's not always possible. There are occasions when you need to do that. This isn't one of them, I'm happy to say. So I'm just going to get the knife in there, just gently ease it across. There we go. Got that bit out there. So I'm quite happy with that. Now, for the mould line, I'm just going to use my mould line remover. Away it goes. You can use your mould line remover to take other bits of plastic that's sticking out as well, as long as it's not too protruding too much. You can get the worst off, and then you can get the next sort of level off done with your mould line, and then finish up with your file. That's cool. So that's what we're going to do here. Look, nail file, just gently rub it over the corner, because you will not see this then. The paint will go on that nicely, and no one will be any the wiser that there was ever a mould line there at all. So little tips like this, it's handy to get into the habit of doing. I'm sure if you're into the gaming aspect of it, you want to like, oh, blow this and just get on with it. But trust me, if you're into the painting side of it and you want it to look the best you can, then take the time. Preparation is the key. Now I'm just going to use my cheaper hobby knife to get a couple more mould lines off, which run down the side. Down the side of the backpack, there's kind of a round protruding bit either side, and there's always a mould line across that. And although it's unlikely people are going to be stopping and closely examining your tactical marines, I will know it's there, and that's all that matters to me. So just making sure it's all gone. Now I'm just going to grab those files that I was talking about earlier in a previous video. That's it, which I didn't start out with this video, but I've got them. So right, in this set happens to be like a triangular shaped one, which might work for this. Yep, lovely. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Okay, that's that. So backpack, it's a choice whether you glue the knobbly bit on the backpack or the recess of the backpack there. It goes around either way. I'll show you. I'll use the thin glue on this one. Now I'm just going to put a little tiny blob on the back of his back there, like so. It's plastic glue, so I haven't got a rush, which is good. That light's annoying, isn't it? Sorry about that. Okay, and pick up the backpack I was working on. That one. There you go. One without the mould lines. Okay, now you just go straight on. Knobbly bit into the recess. Hold it there for a second. And this is what I mean by wiggle. Like, see, it's stuck to his back. If I want to move it that way, I can. Move it over, or that way. Alright, but no, I don't. I want it in the middle. Just have a normal looking one on this one. And there it is. Backpack on. Okay. See you when the rest of them are all done. Hey, how's it going? Back again. I've assembled the backpacks, I've put them all on, I've cleaned them all up, and this is what they're looking like at the moment. So there you go, all of their backpacks on. This is a better way of showing you it. Okay, so there they are, 10 rings of backpacks. Well, what's next? Well, looking at the instructions, the next thing that they're talking about putting on is the arms and weapons. So there's a few different choices here, quite a few actually, and there you've got a list of the different weapons, and there it shows you one example of what arms he's using and what gun he's using, which is good because it's all numbered as well. So we'll do that one just as an example. So it's right, so it's got the bolt guns in. Now I don't really need another squad of tactical marines, but as I'm going to, I would like a squad of bolter guns primarily. So I want a lot of bolter guns. So we'll do a bolter gun, which is what this example is here. Let's say use arm number 48, arm number 49, and gun number 79. So you can see by here what that looks like, what gun it looks like. So you can find it on the sprue here. They're all numbered anyway, which is handy. I know you can't see that here, but 48 arm, 48 there, and arm 49. So left and right arms accordingly. So we'll do one. We'll do one then. Right, 49. So 49. Clipped off, and 48. That's got 2 points. So being careful, remember. Okay. Right, so I've got the one they suggested in there. Now, get my goggles on again, and I can't see you, but I can see this better. Right, okay, got a bit of cleaning up to do there. So again, I need the knife for this, and sometimes you need to see this. Yep, that's cool, nice. You need to. It's safer to. I've got a bit of debris on the side of the arm there. It needs to come off. It needs to come off that way. All right. And rather than trying to do all that kind of, the knife can flick off at times. I'm going to hold the arm onto the cutting mat. Just press down with the knife. As you can see, it just goes into the cutting mat. There, like so. Quick look over for mould lines. Yep, there is a couple on there. There's always some somewhere. Things. That. And some of them are quite faint, and you think, well, that's hardly worth bothering about. But once you put the paint on, trust me, out it comes. Oh yeah. Alright, there we go. So that's that. Nail file. File that up a bit there. This is the left arm, I believe. Okay, now the right arm. Not a lot to do on it. A little bit of. Actually, move the screen back again now. A little bit of. I'm sorry about all the noise and that. The sound's not great on these videos, but I'll see if I'll do something with that. Either put a dull sound check in the background or whatever. The important thing is you can see what I'm doing here, and hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. Annoying because you want the sound to be good on a video. I think sound is everything. Okay. Mold lines. Almost good to go. Right, so he's got his arms. Okay. Next is gun number 79. So I've got the sprue with the weapons on. That's a nice gun there. I know I want primarily bolters. I also want a flamethrower. Flamer's good to use that flamer template, and plasma gun as well. But do that later. 79. So where are you? 79. There we go. 79. 2 points to clip from. One. Oh no, 3 points. Sorry, my mistake. 2. Holding the gun and the sprue. 3. Gun safe. Okay. Incidentally, when you do the batch method, I'm just going to clean this up in the same manner that I did the arms. When you do the batch assembly, like I was doing off camera just now with the backpacks, I clipped them all off, I lined them up, and I was thinking you've got to be very careful when you're doing that, which is why you need a good space to do this in, because if one gets knocked on the floor, it's so difficult to find, and it really is annoying. But when you're doing your first one, I thoroughly recommend just doing one marine at a time, or at least your first marine or first model. Do the first model, assemble it fully first, get a feel for how it is, then move on. I'm sure you'll gradually get your batch assembly down in no time. You know, I figured using files it makes your hands dry. So another thing I recommend is borrowing some of your wife's moisturising cream and using that, or if not, get some of your own. Worth it. Right. So there's the bolter. I've got the bolter. Okay. Right. So I'm going to pick one at random. You. So he needs his arms on and the gun on. Right, so we'll put his arms on first. Do his right arm first, which is a kind of right angle one. Get this out. The trouble is, when you glues, you've been using your glue for a while, it takes a while for it to come down. Yeah. So I'll put the glue on there. Get the right arm. Get a nice blob of glue on that one too. That's the one that's actually going to, although it attaches on the other arm, this is the one he holds it with. There. Okay, so he's kind of holding the gun like that, and his right arm is doing that sort of pose. So there's a part of the gun that he holds and it goes in there, and you can glue that if you want. Sometimes I do something like that. So I haven't this time. So I put glue on the right arm. And if you're ever wondering, I'm not quite sure how far, because you can use this as a rough guide. Just look at how it's done it. Okay, so I've put that arm on. I've put his left arm on. So the arms look like that. Now I can wiggle those arms for several minutes and not have to worry. This is the point where you've got to decide whether you want to glue paint this separately before you put the gun on. And the longer you leave it, the easier it's going to be. Obviously, there'll come a point where you can't move it around anymore because it's solid, like, you know. But yeah, this looks like a fairly good pose. I'm quite happy with that. I'm going to use this on the stub of his wrist, so that's what attaches to the gun. Bit of glue there. I'll put a bit of glue on there on his. I've also put a little bit of glue on the that part of his hand. I'll let that dry for a few seconds first. While I'm waiting for that, I haven't put the gun on yet. I'll put the gun on when it's starting to dry a bit. Looking at your options, or looking on the sprue, you've got some great guns here, and you've got a power fist. That's always handy to have on one of them. You've got a sword, you've got the robes there. I probably won't bother with that this time. I don't really like the look of those. You've got scopes. At this point, I don't know enough about the game to know if that actually gives you any benefits or not, whether it's like a more accurate shooting or something. I don't know. Plasma pistol, that's always handy. And yeah, the flamer I'll definitely be using. The trouble with plasma is it gets hot. You have to, watch out for that. So yeah. Okay, let's have a crack at this then, see if his gun will go in. So I'm just gonna try and pop the gun on to his wrist. And there. You can just wiggle it around a bit. So there, he's kind of holding the gun. Or he will be. He'll look better when he's got a head, actually. Might move his arms down a little bit. Just a bit. This is ideal to move them around. Just wiggling it around, just adjusting it slightly. Like I say, let him hold it, let the arms on and dry for a little bit first. Yeah, so he's holding his gun up quite high as if he's just about to shoot. And yeah, I might have you have one low, one high. Obviously, you have it low, you can do the chest eagle easier. But like I say, I don't find it a problem. I really don't. So we've done one there. Okay. Now we'll move on. We'll have a look, because different weapons, you just got to look at the different choices. So you got heads and shoulder pads. So I quite like the generic head, wherever they are. not too keen on the beaky space helmets. So there's your heads. You got a few. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing. You got a few normal faces there. Maybe this light it does nothing for the camera. There you go. Can you kind of see that? Got the beaky helmets there, which I'm not too keen on. The generic ones there. I'm just going to use a generic one for now. And do that. I'm not sure. Put that on now in this video. Sorry, this section, because this video is broken down into sections. It's all one video, but right. So just looking at it, I was going to get a bog standard one. Careful, because there's only one connector to the sprue with the heads, and they're starting to get quite small parts now. There's always an annoying mold line across the middle of the top of the, like the crest on the top of the helmet on Space Marines. It's always annoying. You gotta just be patient, get that off. So I really don't like that. And that on there. And the line goes down the sides of the helmet. Mold lines. I don't mind mold lines because they make the best miniatures I've seen. I've worked with a few different types of miniatures, like Reaper miniatures and different things, and the Airfix, Humbrol, Revel. I do think the Games Workshop ones are the best. And I haven't worked with Forge World, but they're just too damn expensive, to be honest. So I don't mind the mold lines. You get to know after a while on the types of model. Once you've decided on your army and stuff, like if you think, oh yeah, I want to play Space Marines, and you put a few of these together, you kind of tend to know where the mold lines are. This actually is the first lot of Space Marines I have put together new since my first ones, so it's kind of cool. I've been making them up, the others up out of bits and pieces. My bits box, that'll be another video I should put up at some point. I've got bits box, always good to have a bits box. I've cobbled them together out of bits and pieces. I bought a load of bits on eBay because they were going cheap, and I thought that'd be an easier way to do it, but there's pros and cons to that. Anyway, let's just get this guy, his head. I'm relatively happy with that. No, I'm not. Still got another mold on the underneath, which you're not going to see, but I know it's there. And if I get rid of it, oh then, no, it's not there. Alright. The fan's on my Mac now, so it's making a bit of a noise there, like so sorry about that. I'll see if I can. I'll see if I can get rid of that with some music. Anyway, right, I'm going to put the glue on the bottom of his neck. That's where I'm going to put the glue. Splodge there, not too much. And this is good because it's giving his arms and gun a bit of a time to dry. Let's get his head in there, like so. I don't want him looking to the side and up. Yeah, I think I'll do. I like that pose. Right, and there he is. One fully complete Space Marine. Obviously, I can add the extra bits. This particular model has a purity seal already on the leg, but there's other ones there I can add on. I can add the grenades on and so forth, but get rid of those. Yeah, there he is. So that's how you assemble a Space Marine, basically. And there he is. Sorry the lighting's not that brilliant. Sorry. I don't have proper camera lights, they're just normal lights, but you can see him, there he is. and I'll just yeah, I might do them as blood angels, these. Anyway, there you go. I hope you've enjoyed that video. Like I say, the rest of it's all fairly straightforward. If you can do that, I mean guys, if you can do that, you can, like I say, you can do stuff like this. You know, when you move guys, because I've magnetized the top, but yeah, you can build that, you can build that. Instructions are the same, they're quite easy once you get to know them, and yeah, before you know it, you'll be building tanks and buildings and all sorts of good things. So but I'll do tutorials on those as well at some point, I hope, and I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been great fun to make. I love doing this sort of thing. I love making the videos, and please like and subscribe if you like. It gives me the encouragement to do more, and obviously hopefully I will learn more over time. The knowledge I have here is just gained from my own experiences doing it, and trial and error in a lot of cases. And until next time guys, happy wargaming.